All right, guys, this was Tina's draft strategy for the Washington Federals last year. I pulled this out. And first I told her, I said, I'm going to get the players that I think will be kept. And this was the selection of players I thought would be kept for sure, without regard to quarterbacks. Really, I was more concerned with running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. But those are the players to be kept. And then I went back and picked the rest of the players I thought that would most likely be there when the draft opened. And so that's what I did there. And then from that list, I went and did a draft strategy by round of who I thought would be available in the rounds, and each round who I wanted her to pick. She did stick with my draft strategy. I'm not going to say that it made her win in the league. I think what made Tina win was simply having a good keeper set, a 3-keeper set. I think that was key for her. She chose to keep Thomas, Breeze, and Kamara off of her team. I don't know who the 4th best player on the team for the Federals was the year before, but that's the 3 she selected to keep. And she could have not kept them. She could have tried to draft for draft picks, but she did keep them. I think it's important to have that strong keeper set, and that's indeed a strong keeper set even this year going in, as Paul has now taken over the Federals. But then I was tired of having a bad tight end in the leagues I've been in. I said, Tina, it's probably best to try to get a tight end. So I listed what I thought was the tight ends that would be available in the 4th round. You couldn't expect to get Kelsey, so I left him out. But I thought Kittle might be there. I'm not sure if Kittle was there when it opened up, but Kittle, Ernst, Ingram, McDonald, and Cook were the best ones going in. We ended up getting McDonald. That shows you how fast those tight ends get away. And then because we had Kamara, and I knew he was going to put up some good numbers almost no matter what, pretty viable player that doesn't get injured much. He might be slowing down possibly a little bit this season, but because I had a good running back, I delayed to the 5th round her getting another running back, and those are the running backs I thought would be there. I really wish we would have gotten somebody different than Cohen, but I thought that David Montgomery might not do that well as a rookie, and Cohen would do good early in the season, and then maybe she could pick up a different running back as the season goes on through the waiver wire. But I thought Cohen would have a good opening of the season, and I think he did have a pretty good opening this season. Might have helped her a little bit. I don't remember, but we ended up with Cohen there, and that was the strategy. In the 6th round, I told her, I said, let's go on and try to get a defense early and get one of the best defenses. Your defense is almost one of the most consistent positions in the league because they don't change that much. Now, you can pick a defense that ends up a dud, but usually if you pick one of the top-rated defenses, they're going to be pretty much in the top all year long. So the Bears, the Vikings, the Rams, and dadgummit if Oakland Invaders didn't pick up the Bears because they had, I think, 3 4th-round picks and 2 5th-round picks. So they got those Bears before we did, but we did get the 2nd-best ranked defense going in, the Vikings. They held on and had a pretty good defense, so I think that was a pretty good pick for her. And then because wide receivers are valuable, in the 7th and 8th round, having only Michael Thomas, which is good enough, but if they're valuable, you can see in the 7th, 8th, and 10th round, I projected that she should get wide receivers. And then I have the wide receivers listed that I thought would be available in the 7th, 8th, and even the 10th round for her to pick from. And of course, she got Chark there. That was my first pick for her. And she got Chark in the 7th round, ended up being a very good pick for her. And then in the 8th round, I forget who she got, Michael Beasley, I think. I wasn't happy with her pick with Michael Beasley, of course. I don't like Michael Beasley, but that's who she picked. And he actually turned out to be fairly decent, better than he was the year before. I will give him that. And then I wanted to get the best kicker early, so I had a kicker in the 9th round, which usually might be reserved for the 10th, 11th, or 12th round even. And she did get Buckner for Kansas City, and that was a good move. And then, of course, the 10th round, 11th, 12th, and 13th and 14th rounds are important too. You guys in the 16-team league, if you do not have more than 2 obvious keepers, you do need to look at those teams that have 4 keepers, try to negotiate something with them. You guys that have that 4th keeper, don't expect to get a 4th or 5th round pick. I think most people are going to be stingy. They're just not going to give up their 4th or 5th round pick. You're going to be better off having a 2nd, 8th round pick and giving that player up. You're not going to be able to keep him when draft comes anyway if you've determined who your 3 keepers are. So negotiations should still go on. We got 3 weeks left, guys. So study your roster. I've sent that out on the fan page and here and there and in the emails. Study the rosters and determine if you are one of the weaker teams. Don't expect the draft to open up. Now, I will say that if your draft strategy is to get a rookie and rebuild your team and only keep 1 or 2 or none, go ahead. You can give that a shot. But the absolute best strategy, 9 out of 10 times, if not 95 out of 100 times, is to have 3 legitimate keepers. That's the best strategy. It might not be the guys you wanted the most, but 3 legitimate keepers is the best strategy. I'd say 2 legitimate keepers is a good strategy, and pick that 3rd player. A lot of teams will keep 3. So keeping 2 is a good strategy. Keeping less than that, I think, is you're going to be behind the 8 ball unless you just have a hell of a draft from top to bottom. So please consider all that. Good luck, guys.